I've wanted to do a macro video for ages, but there's been one small yet significant issue, and that's I didn't have a macro lens. But now I do. I have the 85mm Meike lens, which is 2.8, and hold on to your hats. It does not 1:1, but 5:1 magnification. So first of all, as with all the Meike lenses, they are very well built. They are manual focus, they are slightly larger than your average micro four thirds lens, they are very, very sharp. That is all the same across the board with this lens, so rather than repeat myself over and over again, bish bash bosh, sharp, well built, slightly bigger, slightly heavier, but totally worth it. In the box you get a lens hood, which is great. I would recommend using a lens hood for macro photography because you're that close to the subject. If you get a lens flare or any glare from somewhere that you don't want, it can ruin the entire image. So while I don't tend to use lens hoods very often, I will for macro photography. Let's just jump straight into some example photos because that's what we're interested in. This is a coin I got from Malta. It's about the size of a 50p piece in England. Here is a comparison shot with a 2p, a 5p, and my tiny index finger. Finger for scale. And this is the shot as close as I could get with the Lumix 25mm 1.4, not a macro lens. But just to give you an idea, that is how an average prime lens would shoot this coin. Here we are at 1:1 ratio with the Meike lens, which is pretty impressive in and of itself. You can get very nice macro shots from this sort of zoom slash focal length, I'm not quite sure how you would say it. But look how much closer you can get. It's ridiculous. Because you are dealing with things that are so minute, you really do need a tripod to get the most out of this lens, as with any other macro lens, to be honest. So get it on a tripod, add in lots of available light, stop it down a little bit. It is a 2.8 lens, but the depth of field at 2.8 is just crazy. I shot this at f4.5 or maybe even f8. I changed things a little bit the closer I had to get. So it is a balancing game with macro, with how much light you have to how much depth of field you can get. So it's a little bit different than standard photography. Wide open may not be the best solution. I took it out and about for a walk and got some macro shots outside. Didn't have the tripod, so it was a little bit more challenging, but you can use it without a tripod, but you probably can't go all the way to 5:1 because, whoa, things move way too much, particularly if it's a windy day. Don't take macro shots on a windy day. Don't do what this person did. You have 3 rings on this lens. You have your zoom ring, except it's a prime, but it does kind of zoom the image in. Mind blown. You have your focus ring and you have your aperture ring. So quite similar to a normal setup, but your zoom ring kind of does zoom in. I don't quite know how this works. It's focusing, but it's zooming. It's focusing, but it's zooming. The lens isn't weather sealed, but as I say, it is very well built and it's very robust. Ooh. Sorry if I'm out of focus now. That was a very silly thing for me to do, wasn't it? Anyway, my only negative for this lens is usually with a macro lens, like the Olympus 60mm for instance, you can get dual usage out of it by using it for both macro and portrait. However, with the Meike 85mm, aside from it being double the focal length, so a stupidly long focal length, the focus ring doesn't give you very much wiggle room to get your images right. Let me just show you. Between infinity and 1 meter focus, you have a gnat's, no, I won't say that on the internet. You have a tiny, tiny bit of focus ring to get your focus right. So it's incredibly hard to get a portrait in focus. Comparing this to a normal lens, you have much more control to get in between infinity and 1 meter. So you could use it as a portrait lens and the image quality is pretty good. It does suffer from flares a little bit more than normal, but I do think a lot of macro lenses do. However, getting focus is an absolute pain in the backside for portraiture. So I would really only invest in this lens if you want it for macro, because it does macro amazingly, absolutely amazingly. And really we're just being greedy asking it to do more than one thing. So great, affordable, sharp, kick-ass macro lens. It's a very specific lens, not very versatile, but still worth a look in my opinion. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry if the latter half of this video is out of focus. Idiot left a timer on when she was recording. I have to go and buy Seahawks tickets. They're playing the NFL game against the Raiders in London, and I'm going to die if I don't get tickets. So wish me luck. Goodbye. The lens itself has 3